From bean to beverage, chocolate's Mesoamerican roots. Chocolate begins its story in the ancient forests of Mesoamerica, a region that spans parts of modern-day Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. This lush, tropical environment provided the perfect conditions for the cacao tree to thrive. The Olmec civilization, one of the earliest in the region, were the first to cultivate cacao trees. These ancient people, who lived around 1500 BCE, discovered the potential of the cacao bean and began to incorporate it into their daily lives. They ground the beans into a paste using traditional methods that have been passed down through generations. This process was labor-intensive, requiring skill and patience. This paste was mixed with water and spices, creating a unique and flavorful beverage. The combination of ingredients varied, but it often included chili peppers, vanilla, and other local spices. This created a bitter drink called xocolatl, which translates to bitter water. Unlike the sweet chocolate we know today, xocolatl was a robust and invigorating beverage, enjoyed for its stimulating properties. The Mayans, who followed the Olmecs, also revered cacao. They believed it to be a divine gift bestowed upon them by the gods. Cacao held a central place in their culture and was deeply intertwined with their religious and social practices. They believed it to be a divine gift. Cacao beans were used in religious ceremonies where they were offered to the gods as a symbol of gratitude and reverence. These rituals were elaborate and held great significance in Mayan society. Cacao beans were used in religious ceremonies. The beans were considered sacred and were often used in rituals to ensure fertility, prosperity, and protection from harm. The Mayans believed that consuming cacao could bring them closer to the divine. Mayans even used cacao beans as a form of currency. This practice highlights the value they placed on cacao, as it was not only a food and a drink, but also a medium of exchange. Cacao beans were traded for goods and services, making them an essential part of the Mayan economy. The Mayan people enjoyed xocolatl as a special drink, reserved for important occasions. It was consumed during feasts, celebrations, and ceremonies, often by the elite and the nobility. The drink was believed to have energizing and aphrodisiac properties. The Aztecs later adopted cacao into their culture. They were fascinated by its properties and quickly integrated it into their own traditions and rituals. The Aztecs expanded the use of cacao, making it an integral part of their society. They associated it with their god Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity who was believed to have brought many gifts to humanity, including the cacao tree. This association elevated the status of cacao even further in Aztec culture. The Aztecs believed that Quetzalcoatl had gifted cacao to humanity. This mythological connection reinforced the sacredness of cacao and its importance in their daily lives. It was seen as a divine offering that should be cherished and respected. Much like the Mayans, they used cacao beans as currency. The beans were highly valued and were used to trade for goods, pay taxes, and even as offerings to the gods. This practice underscored the economic and cultural significance of cacao in Aztec society. They also believed that xocolatl had magical properties. The drink was thought to provide strength, wisdom, and vitality. It was consumed by warriors before battle and by nobles during important ceremonies, symbolizing power and prestige. Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. Their arrival marked a significant turning point in the history of cacao. The Europeans were intrigued by this exotic beverage and its unique flavor. They brought cacao beans back to Europe. This marked the beginning of chocolate's global journey. The beans were initially met with curiosity and skepticism, but it wasn't long before chocolate became a sensation across the continent. This marked the beginning of chocolate's global journey. As cacao spread throughout Europe, it underwent various transformations. The bitter drink of the Mesoamericans was sweetened and adapted to suit European tastes, leading to the creation of the chocolate we know today. Chocolate was about to change the world, from its humble beginnings in the Mesoamerican forest to its rise as a global delicacy. Chocolate's journey is a testament to its enduring appeal and cultural significance. Across the ocean, chocolate's European transformation. Chocolate, in its initial bitter form, was met with mixed reactions in Europe. Some found it unpalatable, struggling to appreciate its intense and unfamiliar taste. The bitterness was a stark contrast to the sweet flavors Europeans were accustomed to. Others saw potential in its unique flavor. They were intrigued by the exotic nature of cacao and believed it could be transformed into something more palatable. These early enthusiasts were the pioneers who would change the course of chocolate history. Europeans began experimenting with cacao. They tried various methods to improve its taste and texture, using the tools and techniques available at the time. This period of experimentation was crucial in the evolution of chocolate. Sugar was a key ingredient in this transformation. The addition of sugar helped to balance the bitterness of the cacao, making it more appealing to the European palate. This simple yet significant change marked the beginning of chocolate's journey to becoming a beloved treat. Adding sugar to the bitter cacao created a more pleasing taste. This combination of bitter and sweet was revolutionary, and it opened up new possibilities for chocolate as a culinary ingredient. Europeans developed specialized chocolate mills. These mills were designed to grind the cacao beans into a finer, smoother paste, which was essential for creating a more refined product. These mills ground the beans into a finer, smoother paste. This process was labor-intensive but necessary to achieve the desired consistency and quality. This made it easier to mix with other ingredients. The smoother paste could be blended with various flavors and textures, leading to a wider range of chocolate products. Chocolate houses emerged as fashionable gathering places. These establishments became popular social hubs where people could enjoy the new and exciting chocolate drink. These were places for socializing and enjoying the novel drink. The chocolate houses played a significant role in popularizing chocolate and integrating it into European culture. As its popularity grew, so did experimentation. Chefs and home cooks alike began to explore new ways to use chocolate in their recipes, leading to a culinary revolution. Chocolate was incorporated into various recipes. From drinks to desserts, chocolate became a versatile ingredient that could enhance a wide range of dishes. This paved the way for the creation of chocolate cake. The combination of chocolate with other ingredients led to the development of new and delicious confections, forever changing the world of baking. A cake is born. The journey of chocolate cake begins in the early 19th century, a time when baking was more of an art than a science. Back then, the process was labor-intensive, and the results were often unpredictable. Early chocolate cake creations were a far cry from the moist, rich desserts we savor today. These early recipes were simple, often found in handwritten cookbooks passed down through generations. The earliest forms of chocolate cake were quite different from what we enjoy today. They were more like bread, dense and less sweet, reflecting the limited availability of refined sugar and the rudimentary baking techniques of the time. They were often bread-like in texture, a stark contrast to the fluffy, airy cakes we are accustomed to. The use of cacao was primarily for its unique flavor, rather than the rich, creamy chocolate we think of now. These cakes used cacao primarily as a flavoring agent. The cacao beans were ground and mixed into the batter, providing a hint of chocolate taste that was quite exotic for the time. Recipes were refined over time. As baking techniques improved and ingredients became more accessible, the chocolate cake began to evolve. Bakers experimented with different methods and ingredients, striving for a lighter, more palatable dessert. One key innovation was the use of baking soda or baking powder. These leavening agents revolutionized baking, allowing cakes to rise and become fluffier. These leavening agents created a lighter, airier cake. The transformation was remarkable, turning what was once a dense, bread-like treat into a delightful, spongy dessert. The development of specialized ovens also played a part. Early bakers relied on wood-fired ovens, which were difficult to control. The advent of more sophisticated ovens allowed for precise temperature control, essential for perfecting cake recipes. They allowed for more controlled baking temperatures. This precision meant that cakes could be baked evenly, reducing the risk of burnt edges or undercooked centers. Cookbooks from the 18th and 19th centuries feature increasingly sophisticated chocolate cake recipes. These books were treasure troves of knowledge, documenting the evolution of baking techniques and ingredient combinations. These recipes often included ingredients like eggs, butter, and sugar. These additions enriched the batter, resulting in cakes that were not only lighter, but also more flavorful. This resulted in richer, more decadent cakes. The transformation from simple bread-like cakes to the indulgent chocolate cakes we know today was a gradual process, marked by continuous experimentation and innovation. Chocolate cake was becoming a true indulgence. By the early 20th century, it had cemented its place as a beloved dessert, enjoyed by people of all ages and backgrounds. Section 4. A delicacy for the elite chocolate cake's royal rise. Chocolate in all its forms was initially a luxury reserved for the wealthy. This was due to the cost of cacao beans. Chocolate cake, with its elaborate recipes and rich ingredients, was seen as a status symbol. Royal courts across Europe embraced chocolate cake as a delicacy. Pastry chefs competed to create the most impressive and flavorful cakes. Chocolate cake was served at special events and celebrations. It was a testament to the host's wealth and refinement. Section 5. For the people. Chocolate cake becomes a common indulgence. Several factors contributed to chocolate cake's transition from an elite treat to an everyday dessert. Advancements in transportation made cacao beans more accessible. Increased production brought down the price. Chocolate was no longer a luxury few could afford. The Industrial Revolution led to the mass production of chocolate. Chocolate bars and other confectionaries became widely available. Baking powder, once a costly ingredient, became more affordable. This made it easier for people to bake chocolate cake at home. Cookbooks and women's magazines began featuring simplified chocolate cake recipes. These recipes used readily available ingredients. Chocolate cake was now within reach of ordinary households.